Welcome in to the latest episode on the Bet in the Pitch podcast network. This is the NFL podcast with your host, real underscore G Warner, joined by A underscore Schnicker. We are going to find some winners in this episode. So that's all there's left to do. We have a Thursday, a Sunday night, both night games. We have a Monday night, singular. And then we have as many other games we can cram in here, but we're giving you six at least. And fortunately, there's nothing in London. Andrew Schwarzenegger, how are you feeling on this beautiful Wednesday, the 29th of October of the year of our Lord 2025?
I feel pretty good watching a baseball game with some good results. I don't know. I don't know. I think you do watch baseball live. So
I do. Well,
um,
the playoffs, yes, I do.
okay. Well, so everything's great, man. It's the NFL slate was pretty atrocious last week.
Did you see those
Just with like
favorites, how they did?
it was just like bad games though. Even before I was like, man, this is a light slate with six teams on bye, and none of these games are like all that interesting to me. Um, So, except for Sunday night. Sunday night was an interesting game for sure.
Yeah,
But
Sunday
yeah,
night
I
was a
feel
very
good. I feel
interesting
ready
game.
to. I feel like we're about to. I feel like I'm. I feel like we. I can say collective we, but I can speak for myself and say I feel like we're hit. I'm going to hit a stride here pretty soon.
I hope you're right.
Nailed down a couple of teams that I feel pretty good about, and we're just going to keep hammering those.
Let's do it. We'll start on Thursday Night Football with the Baltimore Ravens, which this line was not out before because as we spent a fair amount of time talking about this game last weekend,
Yeah,
or for last weekend's game, and then Lamar Jackson ended up not appearing, as some had speculated, but on this podcast directly with microphones or things in front of us, recording devices. But then didn't matter. All numbers were covered. So that surprising. I don't know if you blame Caleb Williams for some of that, for a lot of it. Certainly, game-changing interception late was not great, but
yeah,
that's a different team that we could talk about later in the show. The Baltimore Ravens apparently they took all the fun things like the pinball machines and the ping pong tables and the pool tables and whatever the heck you have in an NFL locker room or clubhouse. Took that all out of there and they got a big win over the Chicago Bears starting some guy named Snoop. And now they're 7.5 point favorites at Miami, who also looks really good. Finally, when everyone's wondering why their coach is still employed, then they go and they get a big win against the Falcons team that's really hard to really figure out. So I'll let you tell me where you want to start. Baltimore Ravens, 7.5 point
sure.
favorites at Miami. Total is 50 and one half, and it's actually going to be in the 70s for this game.
Oh, nice. Be perfect weather then.
It wasn't really going to be
Um,
a sun issue on a
no,
Thursday
of
night,
course not. Of course not.
but yeah.
Yeah, I think the easiest way to start is to look at Baltimore. Yeah, we went back and forth looking at the health of Lamar Jackson. Um, and you were skeptical of what Harbaugh was saying. I still don't understand what the approach was going to be because obviously the Bears said they were preparing for both quarterbacks no matter what. Anyways, um, so yes, I think like this is the game that he's going to play, and so we're back to where
Are
the
you
Ravens are.
sure?
No, of course I'm not sure. I don't have any inside information. It's Wednesday night, so we're less than 24 hours before kickoff.
How
All we can
good do
do
you
is,
think he'll be when he plays?
hmm, well, I would say like the Dolphins are a team that you can look decent against. Even though I was really impressed with how they played on Sunday against the Falcons on the road, I think you can. That's a soft landing spot. Not that last week would have been any different. The Bears defense is really bad. Um, so yeah, I would rate them as a top five team still. They're still projected to win the division. They have been this entire time.
Yep.
So, but I also like what the Dolphins. I think everyone they've looked really bad at times, really, really, really bad. And it's been a lot of fun narrative talk about Tua and the chirping in the media. Um, but I still think people are just kind of overlooking them. And I go back to like that Bills game on the road
Yep.
where they equipped themselves pretty well, motivated, played well, and late turnover prevented them from potentially winning. They did cover that game. This number feels like I might lean towards the Dolphins here.
Yeah. Well,
You have any
I
thoughts?
don't do road favorites, so I could only lean Dolphins here. And the hard part for me is I don't. No, if we're back in the Dolphins here, we are buying a performance against a Falcons team, which certainly has had some decent showings this year and also some not decent ones,
Yeah. Yeah.
to say the least. Scoring 0 points, losing 30-0, I believe, on the road at Carolina, I think is number one on that list, though blowout loss to Miami is also very puzzling to me. Um, I don't know that Lamar Jackson. I feel like across all sports, when you see people that are expected to return and don't, and then return the next game, I feel like that. I don't know necessarily that 4 extra days all of a sudden means Lamar Jackson
Yeah.
is of great health. And I think if he was available, they really needed him in that game on Sunday. But I mean, that season was allegedly on the line. Maybe that motivates them here. I think Dolphins are probably the side that I don't know that many people want to have them. I think people hear Lamar Jackson's back. Ravens are a full go for a lot, and I'm very curious to see where this number. I have not been tracking because it hasn't really been available for the week or so before
Yeah.
with the Lamar Jackson questions. But just to me, it feels like 7.5. I would expect Baltimore money to come in. So if you like the Dolphins, I think I'd wait.
Sure. Yeah, I think it hasn't really moved off 7.5 when I've glanced at it throughout the last couple of days. The juice has changed a little bit. We there was like a uh, juiced in favor of the Ravens a little bit, but yeah, we haven't moved off that 7.5.
Yeah, I don't think we'll close 6.5. So I think you will have a full touchdown in
Yeah.
your pocket if you are back in the Dolphins. Move
I,
all the way to Sunday Night Football. The Seattle Seahawks 3-point favorites at the Washington Commanders. More quarterback questions in that matchup. Totals 48 in this one. Is Jaden Daniels going to play?
well, I haven't even I haven't been keeping as good a tabs on Jaden Daniels this week.
Well, all I know is when they were previewing the game on Sunday Night Football, they said they had a graphic with Jaden Daniels up and said, "Don't
Sure.
worry, he's playing." And then I think it was kind of a joke. Maybe I misinterpreted
Yeah.
it, but um, I, I mean, we just saw those same
It's
Commanders. I mean, what a great time to have back-to-back primetime Monday Night Football at Kansas
right.
City to Sunday Night Football at home for Seattle, both potentially without your quarterback for the fourth or fifth game this season potentially. So I don't know. There's a lot of issues there, I think.
Yeah, yeah. And the defense, Jaden Daniels doesn't play defense.
Oh, right, yes.
Did you know that? Did you know that he doesn't play
Well, I
defense?
the only defense he plays is he keeps the ball in his hands and on his team side in
Yes.
possession, and
So
that
that
keeps
is
their
good.
defense on the sideline, which is where they want to be. Because it seems like the Commanders' defense that somehow made it to the NFC Championship last year, they seem to have gotten much older, much faster than most expected.
Yeah. Um, so this is a headline from the Washington Post
Okay.
from this evening. This is Wednesday
Mm.
night. It says Jaden Daniels is in line to return Sunday, but Terry McLaurin is out.
Mm. I think I,
So
I think I would if I had to choose between one of those two, I think I would take Jaden Daniels.
yeah, but this feels very much like what we were doing last week. I mean, I'm not saying that the commanders are about to like lie and get investigated by the NFL
You're
for,
not saying, but you're saying. Okay.
but uh, I think I think they're certainly going to need him. Seattle, Seattle looks. I've got to go back and forth, and so I feel like it's uncomfortable to waffle in this way. Like we've talked about Seattle several weeks this year, and I haven't been sold. The last memory I saw was just like a absolutely outstanding defensive performance against the Texans, which you know that's that offense. But yet Sam Darnold then the offense literally putting that defense in the worst possible spots. And I don't know if we even talked about. I had the under in that game, so it's probably why I was so irritated by all the stupidity that was happening.
Well,
Um,
after backing the Seahawks, I was pretty irritated because that game should have been dead, buried, and everything. And the
yeah,
Seattle offense went backwards or gave the ball away, so that didn't help my side. And then the points they were offering the Texans on a silver platter certainly didn't help under. I
it,
agree with that.
it was such a maddening game, and like that still like that's gonna stick with me. I'm not sold on their coaching staff. Like it's
I think
um
that's been a question for a while.
like I don't. They've made decisions that I'm like, okay, this is not something of like a really good coaching staff they would do this. And it's not just that Texans game. We could go back to the Cardinals situation, like in game, but also like personnel decisions and coaching, like hiring decisions. So this is a tough one because it is on the road, and it's just so different. Mariota, even if it's Mariota, they would obviously um, be underdogs, but I think man, it would entice me for sure, especially with everyone. The last time we saw them was a Monday night game. We're talking about the Seahawks. The last time we saw them was Monday night game against the Texans.
I think.
No,
Uh, I mean, I think Seattle is very talented defensively. They've got a defensive line that will make it very hard for Washington to move the football. I I mean, even if Jaden Daniels does play, I still have a lot of questions about how efficient, effective, all those sort of things he'll be.
yeah,
Um, I mean, if not for the entire Chargers offensive line going down in his return, where the market was really liking Washington down 10-0 early, I feel like that was kind of threw us off the scent a little bit, made I think Washington look a little bit stronger. I mean, they were not competitive against the Cowboys, I thought, on the road, and the Cowboys literally let anybody move the ball up and down the field.
yeah,
And I don't know that I really blame Jane Daniels' injury in that Cowboys game for having much to do with a blowout loss. I just,
yeah.
it seems like to me, Seattle does feel a little expensive based on their questions about their coaching staff being a road favorite. I don't think it's really as big of a deal this far away from home when it's a night game, but
Hmm.
certainly travel does impact it. And I mean, Seattle's not cheap, but I don't really see much reason to back the Commanders unless you really have a belief that Jaden Daniels can carry them, which I don't know that he's been able to do that because I don't think he's close to full bill of health, clearly, as we don't even know for sure that he will play. And I don't think anyone does until
Sure.
he's not
Yeah.
on the inactives report.
Well, I would say like if you're making market decisions, we've talked about like market entry is what we discuss on this podcast quite a few times, and we are just talking about that with the Thursday night game. There's no incentive for me to take the Commanders at this number because if I don't, I would rather, I would, yeah, I don't need, if Jane Daniels starts, I don't care about the plus three. I actually would rather, like, if Mariota is there, it's probably going to be up at like what, plus eight
I would
or
think
five?
I would see it hard to go above 6, but it's
Maybe you're
possible.
right.
I mean,
There
he
is like at
should
least a
be.
5 or 6 point drop
The
between those
difference
two.
between those quarterbacks is significant, but I just like in that type of prime time spot with a backup I mean, maybe you do see that number swell incredibly, but I just like it's hard for me to say that there's a 6 or 7 point difference
Maybe.
between quarterbacks. I just I mean, Jaden Daniels was so good and made a lot of people a lot of money in the playoffs last year, but I just feel like I mean, that's what we remember from last season. And I think a lot of times we need to almost completely dissociate from what we watched, even though it's hard to forget that because this is a new year. There are sophomore slumps and things of that nature, but injuries, I think, are the biggest thing here. And if you're ready, we can move to Monday night. Arizona will
Yeah.
visit the Dallas Cowboys. I was way off. My number was way off when I made this one. Total's about where I had it, but I saw as low as 3.5. Look ahead.
Hmm.
Actually, 3.5 was the opener from what I was looking ahead lines. Then it fell to 3. Fast forward through Sunday games, Cowboys didn't look great. Now they're 2.5 point favorites at home to an Arizona team that is really hard to figure. Total is 54 in this one, up from 51.5. Cowboys seem to hit the over in every game they play. So, are we keeping it simple, stupid, just playing over 54, even though that number's gigantic?
Well, they're going to keep pushing it higher until until they don't cover or don't hit the over. Yeah, that would. This is.
I mean, in Denver, 51.5 was,
Yeah,
I mean, with a good Denver defense, and a lot of that, of course, that
it
over
wasn't
was
even
hit by Denver, not by Dallas, but
right.
the Dallas defense certainly contributed to it.
Yeah, it wasn't even close. Like it was dead over the whole time. So yes, to what are the totals? They're 5, 6, and 2 to the over this year. And somehow the Cowboys and the Bears game went under, and there was like 42 or 45 points in that game for like after like 2.5 quarters. So yeah, I mean, it's probably you just probably take the over. Although finally, though, when this is when the conversation is like that, that's when you pivot the other way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean,
Um,
can you play under with the Cowboys defense?
no, 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 no. But that like it's at some point it's like okay, it's cake. It's kind of like our conversations about the Lions Tampa game from a couple weeks ago. It's like this seems so obvious, and but yet every single person is saying over. Let's backtrack and reconsider here.
I've won the last
Um,
two overs on the Cowboys the last 2 weekends, and
yeah,
I don't really
yeah.
see a reason to stop, to be frank. I mean, yeah, the
Um,
number's going to get out of hand. It probably is too high considering the frailties of Arizona, who coming into this year was somehow a dark horse, and Jonathan Gannon was, I think, one of the favorites for Coach of the Year, which I don't know where that came from,
they
but
just
that
picked the wrong former Eagles assistant.
I guess it just threw me off because I like. I don't like to be so against the market unless I feel really good about something. And I was like,
Mm.
I don't see this. Maybe but it's so easy to say it now. But Kyler Murray is just never. I don't think he's ever going to be a great quarterback. He's worried about his life after football, and that's fine. But most of the players in this league are not. So,
Yeah.
um, why are the Cowboys 2.5 point favorites this Arizona team?
Okay. Well, I mean, you just listed out several reasons
They've
why.
got no defense. Yes, they've got an offense at this point, but still.
Well, I mean, the Cowboys when they've been at home have scored the lowest point total at home has been 40 points, and that was the tie against the Packers. They've scored 40 in overtime against the Giants. So I guess regulation that was not 40, but it was 40 to 37 the final score. The
Team total
Packers game,
28. Team total 28 and a half. So we're just looking for an over there, and then we're in good shape for over from the Arizona side, I think.
yeah. I mean, it's every game the Cowboys have played at home, they've scored 40 points. That's only 3 games, but
So you telling me we need 14 from Arizona to feel comfortable with an over 54? I mean,
so sure if it just replicated like that. But yeah, I would assume that even in junk time, well, no matter what, like even if the Cardinals come out hot, they are never able to hold on to a lead or hold on to like a convincing lead. So I don't think they would contain the Cowboys at home. And if the Cowboys were to somehow get out to a commanding lead, I mean that's kind of the situation we saw ourselves in with the Commanders, but it still went over. Um, near the end there, it becomes very one dimensional, and the Commanders um, weren't able to do much. But I still would have faith that the Cardinals could get like a junk time touchdown if necessary. I don't think that would be the case. So yeah, like you're right. There's no compelling reason on Wednesday, 5 days before the game, that you could say, "Oh, I'm going to take the under," unless you just want to be a contrarian and say that there's no NFL game that should be totaled at 54.
does this
It's
number
not gonna be a good
close
game.
above or below 55 and a half?
Oh, above or below 55 and a half. Okay, we're at 54. What did this open? Do you know?
Last week
Like
I
the
saw
total.
51 and a half that climbed to 52. Now we're at 54. I did not. Unfortunately, I found that my computer likes to crash when I have too many Bet Online windows open that I try to then use as historical data. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, I'm trying to figure out what to do. But Bet Online's removing their classic site, which has static numbers, so that's gonna die soon anyway.
Um, yeah, I bet we get to 55. I would
And a
bet we get to
half.
55.
And a half. I give you the
Uh,
half as a.
I don't.
It's only
I
a
think if you get
point.
to
Point and a
if you get to
half.
50, but and you're always like, there's no key number. There are key numbers in the NFL in totals, and 55 would be a key number.
I don't think I've said that, but okay. Let's
You
now
you
move.
have you have before. You've gotten mad at me, and then you've cursed me out and
Yeah,
uh,
probably
drug my
true.
name through the mud
I
because I
mean, that
said,
I
"Oh,
do on a regular basis, but
there's key
I was
numbers.
hoping.
There's key on the totals market," and you're like, "No."
Okay, I don't
And then
recall, but I have had a few head injuries. Let's pick a game on Sunday to discuss that wasn't force fed into us by the NFL having one game at a time. Where would you like to go
okay,
with this one?
well, do we are we going to talk about the most obvious one, or do we
Anywhere,
want to
I mean,
wait? The one that's on your shirt?
that's a good hint. If anyone's not watching us, we're on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify called Betting the Pitch Podcast. We like 5-star reviews
Nice.
and questions or comments or anything that A underscore sticker can read, mustache or not. And if you want to find
Appreciate.
us on YouTube, I see at the real underscore G Warner there and at the real underscore G Warner on Instagram. If you want our best bet summary picks, as they come out every Sunday, usually right about kickoff from the 1 o'clock games, Eastern time, of course. Let's do it. Kansas City Chiefs 2-point favorites at the Buffalo Bills. Totals 52.5 in this one. I saw Kansas City minus 1.5 last week. Total at 51.5 down to 51. So we have climbed a little bit.
Yeah.
Do the Chiefs deserve to be favorites in Buffalo?
By the numbers, sure. But there's only one side you could take in this game.
And that is
The Bills.
because
Well, because it's not a playoff game. So
that's because Patrick Mahomes has only Josh Allen's regular or only he only has his number in the playoffs, not in the
that's
regular
right.
season.
That's true. That is true. Um, no, I'm being a little facetious. Just jokes. I'm joking.
Mm, mm.
You didn't laugh though.
Ha!
Uh, Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. I think the Chiefs have become
Sorry,
pretty
seven
inflated.
7:30 report time in Carrollton is really taking a lot of energy out of my
Oh
system. I'll
man.
put it that way.
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
It's so dark when I wake up. I literally didn't realize the shirt I wore yesterday was looked like it got pulled through a keyhole, and I had no idea until I got there. Fortunately, it was like a company branded shirt, so I was like, "Well, this is what you guys gave me."
This is what yeah, it was in a box
But I
probably
was like, "Yeah, I
before.
definitely would not have worn it if I noticed." Anyway, so back to away from
Yeah.
my trials and tribulations. Kansas City Chiefs
I
2-point favorites at Buffalo totals 52.5.
Okay, so we've decided the Chiefs are back right back to where, they're the favorites.
I mean, they've looked pretty good.
They have looked good. No,
Besides
they
that
looked
first
good.
half where Patrick Mahomes said the Commanders came in and just had better energy in
Yeah.
all places at Arrowhead on a
Okay,
Monday night with a backup quarterback, out
they've
energy.
looked they've looked great. So they beat the Lions. So this run where we've decided the Chiefs are back was Lions at home, um, against like the six string secondary. Um, there's not even a six string secondary.
Mm,
The Raiders, but again, it was a shutout. Like they dominated the Raiders,
correct. Correct.
31-0. And then of course the Commanders
Once
without
upon a time, I
Jalen.
bet the Patriots minus 2.5 at home against the Raiders. I still can't wait to see how that bet gets graded.
I don't know how you lost that one, man.
I do. Drake May turnovers.
And
Okay, so
then
you're
28 to
you're
7,
you're saying that they've beaten not exactly murderers row.
they've beaten nobody. They've beaten nobody.
The Lions is a pretty good win. You can argue that they have pretty drastic road splits. And yes, if they're down to seventh string secondary pieces, that is quite difficult, especially because on a
Yeah.
53-man roster and whatever practice squads. I don't even know if they have
Yeah.
seven secondary members.
Yeah,
But
it's real. That's real.
I think the of course, as a home underdog lover, I mean the Bills definitely fit my criteria. Um, I have pretty big questions about the Bills' defense. It seems like it's gotten healthier. Matt Milano seems to be back, unless I missed an injury this weekend when they were dominating the Carolina Panthers and Andy Dalton making him look like he should be doing progressive commercials or whichever company that is.
Yeah,
Um,
those are good.
I all the insurance ads just make me want to throw my TV out off the balcony. But um, I just to me, like, where do you sit with the Bills right now? I guess you can talk to the
Yeah.
Chiefs and say they're overrated. And I kind of get that, though they've
Well,
certainly
this is
deserved
just
it for
a
years.
it's I think we always talk about, nothing that we say here is in black and white. It's always against like the market perception. It's always evaluated based off of the power ratings or where we might think these teams are. So obviously the Chiefs are a very good team, in the grand scheme of it all. It's just the same thing with the NFL of not just taking what we saw last week. That's what we talk about all the time. Is you probably should just wipe out what you most recently saw.
Right.
Let's look at the last month. Usually that's my preference, is to look at, okay, let's grab the last month of results. And you can't discredit that they've won the games convincingly. um, I think some teams are really good about beating really bad teams. The Cowboys in previous years have been bullies in that way, where they when they get a bad team, they pick on them and they really expose them. But then when they go up against stiffer competition, it's a different story. Um, that remains to be seen with what the Chiefs are. I think that this is a great spot for the Bills. Um, and often in these situations, the sampling, you would look in the back and say, or look in previous seasons and say, more often than not, the home team, similar in quality, is going to win this game in the regular season.
Yep.
Playoffs is
Yep.
a different story. So that's where I would initially start. Whenever I look at any of these games, I create leans. I look at like what the preferences we have with home underdogs, and really just looking at the home teams first. I try to make a case for every home team before I do anything. And this one, it's probably gonna be a shootout. You're gonna have two quarterbacks that are gonna be running all over the place. It's gonna be a great game to watch. So
Where's
maybe
it
it's a coin
close?
flip. Maybe it's a coin flip.
Where's it close? +2 right now.
I can't imagine it's going anywhere.
We will not see a Bills +3. I'll switch our conversation now to another game that interests me quite a bit. Indianapolis Colts are 3-point favorites at the
Yeah.
Pittsburgh Steelers. Total in this one is 50.5. We have Colts were as cheap as 1.5 point favorites, opened 2.5 in the look ahead numbers, went down to 1.5, climbed back to 2.5. And they've been 3 since I've been seeing it. So 3-point favorites on the road at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Total has climbed from 49 to 50.5. I think a little bit based on the Steelers defense that couldn't get a stop in the second half against the Packers, or just a complete collapse. That was not my favorite Sunday Night Football game of all time. I'll put it that way. But things happen.
Yeah. This is definitely we've watched the Steelers in prime time the last 2 weeks against the Bengals on a Thursday night, and then the Packers, where their defense is cratered, and it like you could at least the sense I got on Sunday was watching some of those defensive pieces go down. Talking about Deshaun Elliott in the secondary. We had a linebacker go down, a defensive tackle got hurt. So I start to see him like, oh boy, like just like we talked about with a 53-man roster, when you start seeing those kinds of injuries in game, it's sometimes hard to
I mean, you
fill
can't
those
recover.
holes.
You cannot
it's-
recover. You can't sign someone, bring them in, make them
Exactly. Like in game, it changes everything. So yes, their defense has been really bad. And the Colts, I feel like we've missed opportunities on the Colts. The one time I gave out a best bet on the Colts is when they freaking lost. That's how our season is going. With the Rams.
Got a long way to go, baby. Long way to go.
So Jonathan Taylor is having a historic season. Daniel Jones is looking great. I do like Shane Steichen. I liked him when he was with the Eagles. I was just waiting for things to click, and they finally did. Lou Anarumo is a great defensive coordinator for this team right now. Like they've got all the pieces. You can't just like look at them and say, "Oh, that's a great regular season team." As of right now, I think they have staying power. So yeah, it's hard for me to say, okay, the Steelers are going to be able to slow this team down. How do they do that?
I mean, the Steelers, I think, are a team that's known as a defensive, physical, all these sort of things, and it's been leaking oil in that category for years. And Mike Tomlin's looked out of position, and if the Steelers just ever changed coaches, he probably should have been gone years ago. With that said, I guess 9-8 are acceptable. Aaron Rodgers started off the year pretty well, but he literally got sacked so many times in that third quarter, whatever, second half against Green Bay. I don't see Indianapolis being as strong defensively as Green Bay, to say the least. They've got a lot of passing issues, but do you trust Aaron Rodgers to really pass the ball, throw the ball down the field? Not really. He's kind of the dink and dunk as you go, and you're getting a third down personal foul penalty for DK Metcalf at some point. So, like, unfortunately, those things are really hard to survive when you're potentially going to get a first down and then you're punting almost automatically. I just, I don't like, to me, it's a little odd to see the Colts priced the same as Green Bay. Yes, it's not Sunday Night Football, which does, I guess, make a little bit more difference crowd wise. And we're also having all the juice on the Colts side right now versus it was on the Steelers on Sunday night. So do you consider? I mean, it's hard to say, and we'll go to another game pretty quickly. But Colts and Packers, are they pretty equal to you right now, or are we
Mm.
seeing a reaction to Sunday Night Football and the collapse from the Steelers, where maybe the market is selling them off a little bit?
Yeah, I don't know if yeah, it's a great question.
Probably
Um,
it's probably too abstract for this podcast. So if you want, we can go to the next game you want to talk about.
well, I mean, I think every if you follow the NFL, um, we all develop these opinions. We watch what and um, sometimes you have to look at the market and what the narrative is telling you. I think the narrative was really fired up about Aaron Rodgers facing the Packers. Um, but this one is tough because I think the Colts are for real. So it's like, am I trying to get in front of this? Even though you're right, the numbers probably would say take the Steelers here. Um,
But
there's
I
no
mean,
like, there's
if they're
no,
just not the Steelers of old and they are just a
yeah,
new team, finesse Steelers, then I think we
yeah.
throw out the dom. I mean, they've even changed the name of the field, so like
It's to
it's not even such a
Acrisure. I think it's
yeah,
Acrisure, right?
yeah, whatever that
Um,
whatever they were certain about. They certainly weren't sure. Pick another game. I think I know where you're gonna
yeah.
pick.
You think I know, or you think you know?
I think I know. I'll tell you quickly if I know, but I think I do.
You know what? Actually, what I want to talk about. Man, there are some really good games this week.
Thank God we need them.
Um, I really don't want to do Broncos Texans. So if that's where you thought I was going,
That's what I thought.
I don't
That's
want
the
to talk
one.
about them. I've talked so much about the Texans, I can't do it.
That's the one.
Let's go, dude. I want to talk about Bears and Bengals.
So we got Chicago 2.5 point favorites, all the juice right now, and the road favorite, another road favorite. We got a lot of those. Total's
Yeah,
51.5 in terms of movement here. The Bears were a pick 'em. Then there were a 1 point favorite in look ahead numbers. Total was 49 down to 48.5. Now we've come completely the other way. Cincinnati Bengals, I mean, good luck explaining their season, but losing or allowing, conceding, whatever, giving the Jets the first win under Aaron Glenn was pretty amazing in the fashion that they did it as well.
yeah.
Uh, I don't know that I really. I mean, we're back on the carousel of Caleb Williams. So you tell me uh, which if we're riding the zebra
Yeah, sure.
or the unicorn moving around the carousel.
He did not look great against the Ravens. I think it's fair to put blame. He's always going to get some of the blame. Um,
He made some really good decisions like tugging and
yeah,
running, but then
yeah,
he also has these just like killers or lots of killers or little killers. That pick late was really tough, but
yeah.
um, I I just if you're in a game where you need him because they're I thought they were running the ball really well, but if you need Caleb Williams to win the game for you or just not lose it, I just don't think you're going to the right spot.
Well, and here's the what I would say with this one is to also look at the total. I
51 and a half. Juice pretty
51 and
heavily
a half,
under
and
right now. Yeah.
it's I'm wondering if maybe there's some predicted weather, and so people are trying to get ahead of that. They start playing the get in early, and then try to get the middle. Get the catch it before the cold front is official or whatever. And
56 degrees on Sunday with 20% chance of
wow,
precipitation, 5
that seems,
degrees wind, which I know you're into.
that seems totally fine. So okay, I guess okay. If I were saying here's this game's gonna go under, it would be that both teams can run the football, so they're gonna be able to control the clock, but also both these teams give up extremely explosive running plays. So like that doesn't mean anything anymore if you're not able to stop the explosives. I would yeah, this to me screams over. Which the Bengals really the Bengals and Bears are both in that kind of Cowboys echelon of let's just take the over and see what happens. Um, yeah, I think the Bears are in a good spot here, and I'm not going to advocate for taking a road favorite in this situation, but I've been looking for chances to fade the Bears because of Caleb Williams and his mechanics, but they just haven't faced a defense that's been able to really harass him in like a month and a half. And I'm waiting for that. I think it's coming pretty soon. Where that I feel
I
like that
don't
will
think
be a
it's
best.
happening this weekend.
It's definitely not happening this weekend. Like, I don't want to like ruin games coming up, but yeah, they're hosting the Giants next week. The Giants with a really good defensive line. That's probably a spot where I would love to fade Caleb Williams, but that's for next week. We'll
That's a
discuss that.
nice little tease in the business for the next episode of the Bending Pitch NFL podcast, which will be recorded Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on which woman decided that she wants to go on a date or decides she doesn't last minute. Um, Andrew Schwarzenegger is not dating at this point in his life, but
I'm not dating.
one of us is. And now it's time to move to our best bet portion. But if
Oh,
you're
we're
not
at best
following,
bets. Oh my goodness.
if you're not following the podcast, please do so. Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. It's called Betting the Pitch. If you want to join the YouTube, the wave of YouTube subscribers now, I think we're up to 210. So thank you for all your support.
That's
Appreciate that.
incredible.
I mean, we were pretty low in the doldrums, and we've been climbing ever since. So thank you for all the subscribers there. And of course, you really love the 1 minute videos that are also on Instagram because I can never decide which is the better spot to put things. But check it out if you got it at the real underscore G Warner on both those platforms. Underscore Schnigger, you're far ahead of me in best bet so far this season. Where would you like to go for this episode, Week 9 NFL slate?
Oh man, you're not gonna believe this.
211 actually. We got another new one. Thank you.
Hey, number 211. You're my guy. You're
Might be
my
a
guy.
woman. Might be a woman. Probably
Or
not.
my late. Well, I have two ladies,
Probably. Oh yeah. Mm,
so
mm,
I'm sorry. You can't
mm.
be you can't be that. But if you're my guy,
Got it.
um,
Got it.
yeah, we're gonna backtrack here.
Okay.
We're gonna go Sunday afternoon, NRG Stadium.
Oh, the team we couldn't talk about.
I'm gonna take the home team. I'm gonna
The
take
home
the
team.
Texans. I'm
The
taking the
Houston
Houston
Texans,
Texans.
1 point favorites right now to the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, it's $1.25, but I would rather honestly. I would wait and see if you just get better juice. So don't on Wednesday night. Do not do this. But one is fine. I'll even 1.5 would be fine. Although if we get to 1.5 or 2, I'd probably just take the money line. Yeah. So let's go with the Texans against the Broncos.
For my best bet, I'm the real underscore G Warner on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, and on YouTube. And of course, if you're looking for soccer plays, patreon.com/real underscore G Warner, best spot for all of that. Try to get
I
them
think
up
not.
every night, unless I go out to the stars like I did last night. And then I didn't get it up till daytime today. And I was at the office trying to make it very, very discreet on my phone, just blasting out Patreons and write ups and all that sort of stuff. But that was out there. It was available. Check me out. And thank you for the support. Of course, the last YouTube subscriber was named The Dirty Sheets. So we might as well mess up our sheets. I'm not sure how they got dirty, but or what type of dirt is in there, or if it's other things. But there we are. For my best bet on this episode, I'm going to go and I'm just going to continue to bet against whatever's happening in the Atlanta Falcons backfield quarterback situation. I'm not so certain. The Patriots are 5 point favorites. They didn't do me right against the Raiders in week 1, but they've been playing really well, a lot based on a very soft schedule. But Drake May has been, I think, one of the more trustworthy passers. Mike Vrabel is a forever underdog genius, a little bit different as a favorite here, as a 5 point favorite, especially. But I feel like we've seen so many no-shows from the Falcons at this point. Maybe the bone bruise has suddenly miraculously healed, and Michael Penix is going to be as accurate as he was in the Sugar Bowl when both you and I were in attendance in New Orleans a couple seasons ago. I just haven't seen it since then, and I don't really believe in him nor what I've seen from the Falcons. They had one good defensive display on Sunday Night Football against the Minnesota Vikings, and I feel like maybe I guess the Buffalo Bills game too, but a lot of flaws there. The Pats beat them, surprise, surprise. So take the New England Patriots 5 point favorites at home. The Houston Texans 1 point favorite at home. And those are our best bets in this episode, and we will talk to you on the next episode next week, very soon. Hit the YouTube subscribe button so we get 212, and we'll shout you out.